All right, today we're going to talk about something that is genuinely changing the game in education. We're unlocking the world of open educational resources, or OER for short. Now, this is a movement that's really shifting how we think about teaching. It's transforming how we create, share, and use knowledge. And believe me, it has huge potential, not just for your students, but for you as an educator. If you're an educator, this question probably sounds all too familiar, right? I mean, that constant hunt for materials that are up to date, engaging, and, affordable for your students, it can be absolutely exhausting. But what if there was a better way? So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll kick things off with a challenge that pretty much every lecturer recognizes. Then we'll introduce OER as the solution. We'll dive into the big why you should even consider using them. Then we'll get super practical with the resources available right here at the Hague University of Applied Sciences. And finally, we'll demystify those licenses that make this whole thing work.
Okay, so let's start by really digging into the problem. We all feel that pressure, don't we? The pressure to deliver the absolute best education we can. But so often, the very tools we have to work with, well, they create their own set of hurdles.
You know the drill. The search for the perfect course materials takes up so much time. And traditional textbooks, they can be so rigid and inflexible, right? They kind of force you to design your course around the book instead of the other way around. Meanwhile, the costs just keep going up, and that's a huge burden for students. It can even affect whether they stay in a course. And all this is happening while you're just trying to find diverse content that actually connects with your students. It's a really tough balancing act. And this is exactly where open educational resources come in. And I want to be clear, this isn't just about free materials, not by a long shot. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about, and more importantly, use educational content. UNESCO has a great definition here, but the key phrase, the real magic ingredient, is open license. That's what makes it all happen. It gives you no-cost access, of course, but crucially, it gives you the legal permission to reuse, to adapt, and to share the material. An OER can be anything, really. A full textbook, a single video, a quiz, even just one image.
To really wrap our heads around the power of open, we can look to the work of David Wiley. He's a real pioneer in this field. He developed what's called the 5R framework, and it just perfectly breaks down the freedoms that OER give you.
So let's quickly break down these 5Rs. Retain means you can download it and keep it forever, no expiring access codes. Reuse is simple. You can use it in your class, on a website, wherever. Revise, now this is where it gets really powerful. You can translate a text, you could update examples to be more relevant for students here in the Netherlands, or you could just cut out a chapter you don't need. Remix lets you grab different OER and combine them to create your own custom textbook. And finally, Redistribute allows you to share your new, improved version with your colleagues. So, okay, that's the what, but what about the why? Why should you actually bother using OER? Well, the benefits are pretty significant for both the way you teach and, importantly, the way your students learn. And notice the synergy here. It's pretty cool. For you as a lecturer, you save a ton of time by not having to start from scratch. You get the flexibility to tailor content perfectly to your learning objectives. For students, well, the biggest and most obvious benefit is saving money, but it goes so much deeper than that. They get access to more personalized materials, and they can even become co-creators in their own education, which is amazing.
And that financial impact is just huge. A lot of the data comes from North America, where OER has really taken off, and the numbers are staggering. Students there have saved over $1 billion on textbooks. That's a powerful statement about the real-world impact of this movement.
You know, this isn't just some niche idea anymore, it's a national priority. The Dutch government is actually committed to making open education the standard. So when you use OER, you're part of a much bigger movement to make education more inclusive and to make sure that knowledge created with public funds is accessible to the public. It's really about opening up academia for the good of everyone. Okay, let's bring all this right down to a practical level, right here at the Hague University of Applied Sciences. This isn't just a theory. There's a local toolkit ready and waiting for you to use. So where do you even start looking? Well, here in the Netherlands, the main hub is EduSources. It's a national platform where colleagues from all over the country share their materials. But the pool of resources is truly global. You can explore massive international repositories like OER Commons, find open textbooks at OpenStax, or even adapt content from those massive open online courses, MOOCs. And the best part is you don't have to go it alone. The THUAS library is your partner in this. They can help you find relevant OER, they can help you publish your own materials on EduSources, and they can give you expert advice on all that copyright and licensing stuff. Seriously, don't hesitate to reach out to them.
You know, the true potential of OER is really unlocked when we start working together. You can co-create materials with your students, which gives them this incredible sense of ownership over their learning. And you can join or even start a community on EduSources to work with colleagues from other institutions. I mean, imagine building the definitive set of resources for your field together. Of course, to share and reuse all these great materials with confidence, we need to understand the legal framework that makes it all possible. So let's talk about Creative Commons. Think of it as the rules of the road for OER. I love this analogy. It's the perfect way to think about it. Instead of the default all rights reserved of traditional copyright, Creative Commons licenses use a some rights reserved model. They're a really simple, standard way for creators to tell everyone exactly what they can and can't do with their work. So these Creative Commons licenses are all built from 4 simple components. BY stands for attribution, and it's in every single license. You always have to give credit to the original creator. SA is share alike, which just means if you adopt the work, you have to share your new version under the exact same license. NC means non-commercial use only, and ND means no derivatives, so you can share it, but you can't change it. And here's where you can see how those building blocks combine to form the 6 main licenses. They go from the most open, that's CC BY, which basically just requires you to give credit, all the way down to the most restrictive, CC BY NC ND, which only lets you share the original work for non-commercial purposes with no changes. Understanding this spectrum is really the key to knowing exactly what you can do with any OER you find. And finally, there's one more you should know. CC0, or Creative Commons 0. Now, this isn't actually a license. It's what's called a public domain dedication. A creator uses this to waive all of their copyright. They're essentially gifting the work to the world. With CC0 material, you can do literally anything you want, no conditions at all. So as we've seen, OER is so much more than just free stuff. It's a toolkit for creating a more flexible, a more collaborative, and a more accessible education. It empowers you to tailor materials perfectly for your students and to share your own expertise with the world. So the question is no longer just what you will teach, but what you will create and share.